Hi there, I'm David Hunt, owner of GameMasters Guild, and today I'm going to talk to you about the most important thing you need to play 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. And that's nothing. No dice, no books, no anything. Although you do need some people to play with. And why do I say this? Because if you're just getting into Dungeons & Dragons, you're going to either ask your friends about it, or they're going to bring you into it and say, hey, you should try out this cool game we got. Or you're going to go to your friendly local game store and ask some people there and try and get in on a game. And at first, people are going to let you borrow dice. They're going to help you make your character. They're going to let you look at all the different books. That way, kind of get a feel for the game and kind of, get you more comfortable and decide whether or not it's going to be for you and whether or not you're going to need to make that financial investment. Now, for some people, all they're going to do is play super casually, like maybe once a month, once every couple months. And these people, you only need really just some dice. And really, everybody, if they're going to play at all, you really need your own set of dice. It's just not cool to borrow dice all the time from other people. In the beginning, it's okay, but in the beginning, you need to get your own dice. But if you're going to play super casually, then don't even worry about buying any books. But beyond that, if you really start getting into the game and you really start enjoying it, well, you know what? You're going to need the Player's Handbook. And really, it's the only book that you're going to need as a player. Now, there are going to be some other books that have other races and spells and backgrounds that you may want to pick up just because, well, it's going to go with the Player's Handbook and you'll need that extra information from that book. But generally speaking, the only book you're ever going to need is the Player's Handbook. And odds are good, if there's some extra information you need, your Dungeon Master probably has a bunch of the books already, so you don't have to go out and buy another book. Player's Handbook is $50. And what do you get for $50? The complete rules of the game, how to do everything. Well, now there's a little bit of stuff that it doesn't quite talk about. Like it doesn't give you a whole smorgasbord of monsters. It doesn't give you a bunch of magic items. But I will tell you what you do get. You do get the complete rules of the game. So with this book, even I could run Dungeons & Dragons from now till eternity ends. Gives you all the different races like humans and elves and tieflings and dwarves and gnomes, etc., so on and so forth. A lot of races that you could be. Gives you a lot of variety for backgrounds like fighter, barbarian, bard, and even more that you could be. And it tells you how to not just create your character, but also how to increase those characters in level as you get more experience from level 1 to 20. Also, it's got a lot of equipment, weapons, a lot of different oddball equipment that you could get. There's a lot of magic spells in here. The bulk of the magic spells in Dungeons & Dragons all come from this book. Some of the other books add extra spells, but this is where 99% of them come from right here. And not only that, but this also talks about alignment, which is the general moral code of your character, and it tells you about each one so that we kind of decide, how your character wants to be. Is he kind of more of a roguish scoundrel, or is he, a straight up 100% good guy where he'll even throw a sword at the bad guy because he won't fight an unarmed foe, that kind of thing. Gives you different backgrounds and personality suggestions for your different characters. And I did say magic spells earlier, which is nice because if you're a dungeon master trying to run this, well, there's no magic items in it. But that's okay, because you could simply take a spell and put it on an item, and suddenly you have a magic item. With a little creativity, you can kind of bend and mold this to whatever you need. And a lot of people don't know that this book also covers stuff like surviving out in the wilderness. Swimming, jumping actions, how to resolve all that stuff. Some of this really cool stuff that you see in movies and TV that you might want your character to do, it's covered in here. Or at the very least, once you read it, you kind of piece it together and go, oh, I know what we can do. I know how we can make your character do that. It's no problem. Talks about skills, because all your characters have the same skills, but not everybody has it at the same proficiency level. That's all in here, and that comes from your background as well. And then also, too, talks about a lot of other things about different environments, surviving different environments, colder environments. Talks about saving throws, which if your character is, well, saving throws is a little bit deeper, I guess, and maybe we'll just wait for you to play the game to get into saving throws. But that's basically something happens, like maybe you're slipping off a cliff and you got to make a dexterity saving throw real quick to kind of react to stop yourself from falling. There's a lot of different things in here. And I think a lot of people don't realize, especially dungeon masters, because I forget it sometimes, that there are sections in here that are perfect for you to use. There's a section on the gods of the multiverse. There's a section on the planes of the multiverse. Now these are small sections, but it gives you just a little taste of what's out there, just enough to where if you didn't have the other books, you could kind of make your way through the planes and the different deities because of this book. And then the very back, there is a section that's got various animals and a few monsters that you could draw from in order to have something for your players to fight. Now also, don't think just because there's not a lot of big monsters in here, there's no challenge. Of course there's going to be a challenge. It's simple to take the monsters and make them a little beefier, or maybe give them some of the magic spells that are in the book, but just they're now their natural abilities. And after a little while of thinking, you'll get some cool ideas. Now you don't want to go overboard on it, but a creature that's can turn to mist, that could be difficult to fight. Or a creature that's got double the amount of usual hit points, but yet it shoots magic missile from its eyes 3 times a day. There's a lot of cool things that you could do. And as for magic items, same thing. You could take a spell, just place it on a wand, let's say like a wand of sleep, and say you can use it 3 times a day. Boom, problem solved. And also, a lot of spells do depend on what level you are, so you just have to decide at what level the wand is. So if it's a level 3 wand, it's as if the spell was cast at level 3. Pretty easy stuff when you start thinking about it and you start tinkering with rules. A lot of cool stuff you can do. And something else to remember too. These books are $50 a piece. And if you're going to be a dungeon master, you're going to need more than just this book. But not everybody has $150 to spend on the 3 main core books to run Dungeons & Dragons. Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, Dungeon Master's Guide. But in my next video, I'm going to show you how you can come in under half of that and still have what you need to play an exciting game of Dungeons & Dragons, and then some. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my brief overview of the Player's Handbook, which is the most indispensable book you will ever need for Dungeons & Dragons, whether you're a player or a dungeon master. Well, I'm David Hunt, owner of GameMasters Guild, telling you to stay safe, play great games, and I'll see you real soon.